Alrighty now, it's me, the Bright Queen, Queen Sasuti, Jabria, these three names over and over again. And I'm here with some important messages. I just had the most wonderful experience. I love when things like this happen. I was coming home and I was driving by like my neighbor's house and he was trying to catch a turtle. And I was like, oh my gosh. I immediately stopped my car and I was like, can I come see? Like, who is this? What's his name? What's their name? And it just turned into this very lovely experience. And I feel kind of called not to like get into like the meaning of this, but just know that there is a meaning to this. Yeah. So I will say there's been a lot of like interference lately or recently. There's always like interference and shit, and I get tired of like using the same words over and over again. But let's just say boulders have been being pushed down the hill. Oh my gosh, it sounds so country. I am. Boulders been being pushed down the hill, and as I've said before, like there's things that like happen in a way that's like more organic, and then there's things that like feel more forced. And either way, it's all holy, it's all divine, and I'm grateful for all of it. And this time, what it kind of looked like for me was like I was starting to like feel miserable in my life. I was starting to feel like I didn't like my job. I didn't like where I was, and like I didn't like my days. Like I wasn't liking my days. I wanted my days to be over, and I was ready for the next one, and I was ready for this to happen, and like just feeling very like uncomfortable and like not in this space of love. And I was like, I used to feel like this all the time, and I was like, what happened to like how I felt before? What happened to like when I used to feel like so high up in energy and things like that, like I felt to May. Like I would go to work every day and I'd be like, I don't like this place, I don't like this job, I don't want to be here, it's not enough for me. Hi. I would feel like somebody just asked, do I like true crime? Yes. But anyways, yes, so I was like, I got home from work one day and I was like, okay, I've had enough of this. I'm tired of not liking my life. I used to love my life, and now like I'm like dreading going to work. I'm dreading waking up in the morning or the rising. I'm sick of it. And I was like, I'm sick of being sick of it. And so I was like, you know what? We're gonna sit down and do what we used to do before, which worked like a charm. Like I sat there and I visualized and I felt the feelings that I wanted to feel at work and what I wanted. And this is very important. Like you have to know what you want, like especially like emotionally in terms of fulfillment. And I knew what I want, and what I always want from every part of my life is to feel connected to people. Because back when I was miserable, back when I was not having a good time, that's why I wasn't having a good time, because I felt so alienated from everybody around me. I felt like I was just this alien, strange being, and everybody else around me like just didn't understand me and just didn't get it and was so far away from me. And I hated everybody for that, but then I was jealous of everybody for like being able to be like what I thought was normal and things like that. So what I want now is always connection, is to be connected to people in a way that is intimate. And so I visualized that. I visualized me and my coworkers and my bosses, and I just saw all of us like laughing and smiling and having a good time, and like this sense of camaraderie. And where the hell are these ants coming from? I think the other window over there. I'm gonna have to do something for that. But anyways, anywho, so the next day at work, it was a vibe. Like it was much better already. But then at the end of the day, like right when it was like 10 minutes left of work, the fire alarm goes off, and so we all like rushed out of the building with the babies to the front. And just that experience like brought us all together. And we also had a team meeting that same day, but like having that experience beforehand when we were all in like this collective experience of like being pushed out and like seeing the firemen come and like turn off the fire alarm and like figure out what's going on. And then we all went back into like our lounge, and we were all like jovial, and we were all talking and chatting about theories and things like that. It happened immediately. And then even earlier that day, I was eating my lunch, and I just finished eating, and I was like, man, like I want some sweet. And right when I thought that, one of my I guess bosses or somebody on the leadership team came in, and she had like 7-8 boxes of pizza, and I don't eat cheese, so I couldn't eat that. But on the top of those boxes, she had these boxes of cinnamon rolls and brownies. And she was like, here, one of the parents bought these for the team to show support. And I was like, that's so crazy. I literally just thought I want something sweet. And that was like my issue and confusion beforehand, because as I was feeling more and more miserable and like uncomfortable with my life as is, I was like, I don't know why I'm feeling like this. I keep getting everything I want. And this isn't like me being boastful or anything like that. I'm saying all of this as a reflection of you so that you can like see this truth in your life. Like, for example, like I wanted like gas for my car. The next day I was able to go get gas for my car. Or I wanted something specific to eat for dinner. The next day, like I got that to eat for dinner. Like I was always getting what I wanted. There was nothing wrong happening, but I still felt this like energy. And for one, I know for sure there has been like these intentional attacks, but it's also like, again, it wouldn't happen if I don't allow it to some extent. Anyway, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful because I got to see how I was able to overcome it. And today I was making this message for my friend, and I was gonna tell him about how like I observed somebody else online like making these statements about a certain person, and I had all these comments about that. But anyways, it led me to what I'm about to make this video mostly about, even though it's a live. Oh, Jasmine said, I understand, that's exactly how it was for me, and I had to quit. Maybe I need to talk about like the job experience a little bit more. Should I talk about that first? No, I'm gonna finish what I was saying, and then maybe I'll go into it if I feel guided to. But anyways, basically I was thinking about how like I wanted to like, I've been wanting to, I don't know how to describe what I do. I'm sure there's like some fancy term for it. It's not really like astral projection, even though I guess it is, but I do it while I'm still awake. I don't need to go to sleep to do this. And this is also a message that came through. Like this is all a part of like one big message about how like you don't need to have like certain things or certain like anything to like access what is yours to access. Like all you need is you, basically, is like the message. All you need is you. And that's why the title of this live is called Speak Some For Yourself. Pretty sure that's what it's called. It's the lines from SZA's album Control, where it's like an excerpt for I think her granny, and she was like, you need to take some time to speak some for yourself or show up for yourself at the end. And that's what this is about, like standing up for yourself. The reason that I'm able to like do what I do, or the gifts that I have, is it didn't start off this way. It started off like smaller, but because I was so obsessed and intrigued with this kind of these experiences, I practiced and I practiced and I practiced and I practiced. And what came along with that practice is having to trust. Like if you know anything about like Darius J. Wright, he does these things called like targets. You like practice different targets with like out-of-body experiences and stuff like that. And like the point is to like prove to yourself that you are actually coming out of your body. The whole purpose of that is because you need to trust. You need to learn to trust yourself. And so basically that's what I'm talking about with the things that I do. I don't do out-of-body experiences, although I don't not do them either. You know what I mean? Like what I mean by that is I haven't been like practicing like those intentionally and like having them, you know, like consistently is what I mean. But I have nothing against them also. Um, but yeah, it's about trust. And something that's really been coming to my attention has been like there was this one guy, I think it's Beyond the Frequency 365 or something like that is his YouTube channel, and he was like showing how he can like read with his eyes closed. And like I heard this again somewhere else, like somebody reading with their eyes closed. And I saw these videos about these autistic kids who can like see things like behind their head and stuff like that. And of course, my little arrogant self, I don't know, I love myself so much. I love the little comments that I make. I was like, what now? I was like, what's the point of, like, how is that helpful? Like, I'm like, the only way I could think about it was like, if like, because if you're reading something right in front of your face, like, you can read that with eyes as well. It's like, it only makes a difference if you can like see something like far away or something like that. That's what I was thinking in my brain. And I was like, I don't need to be able to see verbatim like what the words say if I can feel the meaning of them. And I've talked about this before and how I've experienced telepathy when talking to beings who I guess aren't incarnated. But I also have this with other people. I was about to say everybody has this, but I be forgetting sometimes that like some things I do is just like not everybody does it. But I feel like when you see people walk past you, like you can hear their thoughts, or at least I do. I be hearing people's thoughts. I'm like, oh. But it's not even about like hearing, like I said, verbatim what they're thinking. It's like I see these snapshots of their thoughts, and it translates like into words of the language that I speak, which is English, if that makes sense. I feel like it's gonna be so difficult for me to keep on track, so I won't even try to. I'm just gonna like speak, because I feel like this is all like channel messages as well. The way that this like came about, because I wasn't planning on making a video. I was like, gonna go home and I'm gonna read. I gotta finish this book, Song of Achilles, that I've been reading for a while. So yeah, this is like a channel message as well. And I keep feeling like somebody watching me, and I keep like blushing. Where the fuck are these ants coming from? We gotta get to the bottom of this. I don't like stuff crawling on my ledge, my window. Anyways, the point of what I was saying about the seeing and the sight and things like that, it's all about trusting yourself. Like, I said this before about the guy who like does tie-dye shirts. Like, he loves to do tie-dye shirts. He does these really complex and sophisticated tie-dye shirts. And I was like, that's his way of speaking and connecting with source within him. That's his way. And so you don't need to worry about like the fact that you can't do this or do that or trying to do anything like anybody else. Like, trust yourself to know what you're doing, if that makes sense. And I feel like maybe it doesn't, but I'm gonna say it again. Trust yourself to know what you are doing. So right now I'm gonna take a moment to like clear and kind of ground the energy. I'm just gonna close my eyes. I might do light language if like somebody's like uncomfortable with like light languages or the sounds that I make. Just exit the scene. You don't have to be here, but the energy and the messages are going a bit fast, and so I need to like I need to calm them down and like get like more clarity on where this is going. Okay, so speaking about trust, so when I had like my big like, or like my first very noticeable spiritual awakening, you know, for like a better terms. But when I like first, like I knew like something was going on, like I knew because the signs were very, very obvious, very in my face. That time I would just feel pulled to go certain places. I just feel called to like be certain places or to go certain places, even if it was like, I guess, dangerous or like wouldn't like I wouldn't typically do, like out of like caution to protect myself. 744 now. During that time I was constantly seeing the number 44, so it's beautiful that it's appearing now. If you're liking this video, give it a thumbs up. I just felt called to say that. Thank you so much for your support. But yeah, I would constantly see the number 44, and I remember like every time I would see it, I would also see this very specific person that I was very drawn to. But every time I would see 44, I would see this person. And so it's like, that was like training my mind, or training like me to like trust my gut, if that makes sense. Like, okay, Jabria, every time you're seeing this number, you're manifesting this person's presence. Every time you see this and you know like it's this number, you're gonna see this person. It would be crazy. Like, I remember I would be somewhere and I'd be there for like hours before, and then the minutes would tick by, and then right when the number would change from like 443 to 444, this person would just appear like behind me and like walk, which I hope they're doing well. I don't talk to them anymore.